Hey everyone, it is Monique here, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks how to deal with, or tools, however you want to see it, how to deal with frustration, despair, annoyance, all of the things that come around the corner, as we say in Dutch, when you are learning about conscious creation. You can call it manifesting, even though it's not technically correct. But maybe this is the word that you use, so you can call it manifesting. It can be really emotional. Yes, it can be really emotional. And it doesn't have to be. It can be so much easier. And when you get what I'm about to tell you, when you understand this, it will be so much easier. So there are no others. That's a concept that I first heard through Neville Goddard. And he also says, let the world tell you who you are. Years after, pretty recently, I heard Bashar say that there are no others as well. And they both claim there are no others, to have us understand that the people we interact with are the way they are because of who we are. So there are people, yes, but we create their version of them based on who we are. So everyone we see, interact with, and don't interact with is a version that is unique and personal to us. This is what everyone is you and everything is you pushed out means. Everything and everyone comes from us. And when everything is flowing nicely and in the direction that you love it, fine, right? That's amazing. Kudos to you. But when people aren't behaving the way that we prefer or expect, or we have life situations that we do not prefer, then the game really begins. So, first of all, you never did anything wrong. This is not a game of blame. Life is here for us to understand more of ourselves. Because all that is, everything is made of all that is, including us, wants to get to know itself. And we are all that is keyed low. And we also have everything, all the power that all that is has, but also keyed low. Because everything is all that is, and it creates by thought and emotion, as do we. Okay. So get this, truly get this, you didn't do anything wrong. You will discover more of you when you use the world as it's meant to be used, and that is as a reflection, as a mirror. Bashar says physical reality, this is what he literally says, physical reality is a mirror, a reflection of what you believe most strongly is possible, is probable, is true for you. And another thing which is important to keep in the back of your mind is that reality is inherently meaningless, and we are designed to give it meaning. Yes, there are a lot of things happening, but the meaning you give the happening, the judgment that you put on it, is personal to you. It's not inherently the quality of that event, no. Reality is meaningless. You're designed to give it meaning. We are designed to give it meaning. And so there are multiple roads that you can take to any destination. You can decide the road to be super bumpy, drive in the worst weather ever with a car that's falling apart at the seams, the brake isn't working, the clutch isn't working, you have the wrong gas. It's a mess, like, but you'll get there. You get wherever you want to go. Let's say Rome, you'll get to Rome, but it won't be the nicest ride. You can have it be a smooth ride. You can have wonderful weather in an amazing car with the top you can't take down, the latest model of whatever, super smooth ride. And you can have it be that as well, or anything in between. So you have to understand a couple of things in order to have the ride be smoother. Like, there's nothing wrong when things are a bit bumpy, but it's really, you do not have to suffer before you get to Rome. And Rome is the desire that you're looking to experience. Be it financial freedom, a blissful marriage, a new residency, a new house, a new job, whatever it is. Everything works the same, by the way. It's not like blissful marriage works like this and you have to do this, and a new job works like that. No, everything works the same way. The ingredients are the same, even though the cake might be different. Which is kind of interesting when you think about it. But then it's not, because everything is cake in the end. You're a cake too. Okay. First of all, everything you see in your life experience was first a thought combined with an emotion plus repetition. I talked about this more often. I read to you from Lynda Dahl's book 10,000 Whispers, how things come into being, and I will definitely repeat that again, but today I want to repeat something else from that book. So I'm not going to go into the technical details of how this works. You just have to know that this is how it works. Thoughts plus emotion, and the stronger the emotion, the more solid the experience, the materialization, and the repetition of this thought with emotion, thought with emotion, thought with emotion. Et voila, you have an experience of either a thing or a person or a group of people. That's how it works. So you have to understand that first of all. When you understand this, so that something comes into being through thought plus emotion, then you also understand that if you react to anything that you experience in physical reality, because physical reality is after the fact, and you will hear that as soon as I will read the Lynda Dahl 10,000 Whisper part. Everything you experience is after the fact. It was first a thought or a belief. A belief is just a thought you kept thinking over and over again, plus emotion. And at one point, it is a materialized event, only an event or a thing or a person. So when you then react emotionally to that event, you recreate the behavior of a person or the experience, either the exact same experience or a different experience. Like, it's the same experience, but it has different players in the experience. Like, there are different people out picturing the experience. Or maybe you can have cars that always break down, and then you buy a brand new car and it breaks down again. And you're like, what the hell? How is this even possible? Yeah, because you have something alive in you that says cars always break down. Maybe you literally say this. Cars always break down with me. Might not even be your belief. Maybe it's inherited from your great-grandmother who always used to say it, and then your grandfather used to say it, and then your father used to say it, and now, so you get that it's first a thought or a belief plus emotion is event. So you have this brand new car, and when you now understand, it is my thought and my beliefs that created this, and you have this brand new car that breaks down, when you understand, when you are aware, and when you can take yourself out of the situation instead of being super, how do you say that, like you're in the scene. You're not looking at the screen. No, you're in the scene and believing that all of this is true. But when you start to learn about conscious creation, you can take a step back and have a bird's eye view. I'm like, oh, okay, I understand what's happening. And then you catch yourself and you don't react. And when that happens, then the event can change. Because, I'm quoting Bashar again, change doesn't happen on the outside first. Change is when you respond differently. That's what change is. And when you respond differently to the event, and maybe you have to respond differently to the event multiple times. Could be. It's not like, okay, it's only one time an echo, and when I then change my behavior and my response to the event, then the event can change. No, it doesn't work like that. Creation has its own timing. You are not in control of when what shows up. You're in control of how you respond to things, and creation will then show you, okay, apparently she really has changed. That event is not something anymore that you have to experience because you're not a vibrational match to this anymore. Because as you also know, everything is a vibration, right? A thought plus emotion creates a vibratory state. As Bashar also says, you can't perceive what you're not a vibration of because everything is here and now. And I will get into that as well later when I read to you the part from the book. Can you fucking read that part already? Yes, wait. First, something else. So something else that you need to understand is there is no linear time. There is only simultaneous time. We experience everything in a linear fashion, but that doesn't mean that that's how life works. That's just how our brain interprets everything. Because if it wouldn't, it would be one big mess and you wouldn't understand anything that's going on. These are just the rules of schoolroom earth, that we experience everything linearly, but everything exists now, including all of your past lives, all of your future lives, all of yourselves, all of the versions, like your baby exists now, you not existing exists now, your parents meeting each other for the first time exists now, you dying exists now, you having passed away 500 years ago exists now because there's no linear time. Everything is here and now. And everything that you experience is a perspective and a choice. Because the choices that we make every moment by how we think, feel, and believe determines the path that we are walking down. Because maybe you used to smoke. I was, I have a version of me, that's how I speak nowadays. But you can also say, I used to smoke. I now say, there's a version of me that I chose to be that used to smoke. It's not the same person. I'm a different person than the version that used to smoke. So she already also exists now, but I chose to go a different path. She doesn't stop existing. She's living her own smoking life. I'm living this life, healthier, yogi, traveling. So I think this is enough explanation on that. I think you get what I mean. So there's no linear time, only simultaneous time. When you understand that there's no linear time, it means that there's no cause and effect in the traditional sense, because that can only happen linearly. There is a cause and effect, but the cause being your state of being. Your vibration is the cause of the effect you experience. Not because ABC happened yesterday, you today experience D. No, that is a completely different frame, and it doesn't have to unless you think it is, and it does. That's the whole catch-22. When you expect something to happen today because of what happened yesterday, you will walk into the experience, not because it works this way, but because you expect it and you drag the past into the now. But there is no past. There are only different events that are somehow looking like they are linearly, but they are only like that because we perceive them to be like so, and we think that A caused today, A being yesterday. But it's not true. So, to stay in the analogy of the car, you did not get a flat tire because you drove through a bunch of nails or glass or whatever. I don't know. I think cars don't really get flat tires from glass, but they do from nails. You have a flat tire because there was an expectation alive in you that the journey could be a bit tricky because you're used to cars breaking down. And the fact that you drove through nails is the bridge of incidents. Neville speaks to, when you go to the end, go to wish fulfilled, the bridge of incidents will unfold in you having that desire. You might say, yeah, but it's not my desire to have a crappy journey. It doesn't work like that. Anything that you have a thought and an emotion about and you continue to have it is to creation a desire because you focus on it. That's how it works. It's not that creation says, oh, but that's actually, that would be shitty for her. No, creation doesn't judge. You are in control with your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs. So when you have that event for creation, you had a desire that it outpictured. And that's why it is so important to be aware and to know what you're thinking about whom, what you're thinking about a group of people, what you're thinking about your things. You have to be aware what you're thinking constantly. Because dudes, when you get this, you also know how to create the most epic life experience because it goes both ways. Okay. So, that flat tire, you drove through a bunch of nails, not because of the nails were on the road and tough luck. No, you walked into that experience because you expected it on some level, and that you drove through nails, that's the bridge of incidents. And finally, the long-awaited part from 10,000 Whispers about simultaneous time. Another mind-stretching implication of the simultaneous time framework 2 idea. So framework 2 is the spacious present where everything exists now, as opposed to framework 1, which is physical reality, where we only experience what is outpictured based on what we were thinking and believing and feeling. The idea is that everything we see and experience in physical reality is after the fact. It is old news. Our thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs suggest which events will be chosen from the infinite field of probabilities. Then in the dream or out-of-body state, we try them on for size. And if they are acceptable to us, i.e. reflect the symbols of our beliefs and expectations precisely, in they come to physical reality. So what we experience in the present was started by previous thoughts and finished in framework 2, prior to its appearance in our lives. What we think in the present starts the selection of the next event. How surprised we are when we happen to meet an old friend unexpectedly. How enraged we are when we are passed over for a promotion, and how powerless we feel when we believe another's energy has impacted us negatively. How excited we are after a blind date that worked, and how astonished we feel when we win the lottery. How frightened we are at an act of violence. How desolate we feel when our house burns down. How joyous we are at the birth of our baby. The question on the table: do you remember why any event can happen in the first place? Because we are consciousness here to learn that our thoughts have creative power, and our journey into physicality is specifically chosen so we can see our idea constructions in living color and determine their effects. We're here to play with energy and see what happens. That we experience events of horror or joy is neutral in the greater scheme of things. They are simply scenes reflective of our inner psychological makeup. So, to reiterate, you have to understand that your thoughts and strong emotions and the repetition of these create. Nothing that has happened up until now has to conclude in a certain direction, because there is no cause and effect. Everything is now, and when you feel the freedom of that, you don't have to go into a conclusion of something that someone said or didn't say or whatever. No, leave it. Let the dead be the dead, as Neville says. I think it's from the Bible. Let the dead bury the dead. Leave it. The past it's gone. It was a glitch, whatever. Indifference, right? Divine indifference. So don't drag anything back into the now. Just leave it there. Relax, focus on feeling good right now, because the point of power is right now. From the now, every new now moment, you create the next now moment. So when you feel good, when you trust, when you're relaxed, you will create good things that you can trust and feel relaxed about, because reality, again, is a mirror. And what you see is a reflection of who you used to be or who you are. If it's an echo or not, that's for you to know. Like, you have to know the contents of your mind, you have to know your vibration, and when you know that, dude, everything becomes so easy and fun, because you just can't be fucked about anything anymore. Okay, maybe not about anything anymore, but you don't take stuff so seriously. Schwa that you had a fallout with someone. It doesn't matter. If you take the emotion out of it, you can revise it, you can leave it, you can just cool your skin, chill out. It doesn't matter. Bygones, bygone. It's in the past. It doesn't have any effect in the now or the future unless you drag it into the now. A fit mind, it creates a beautiful body and an epic life. I trust that this was helpful for you. I will see you in the next video tomorrow. Bye.